You're now listening to the Open Africa podcast with Laolu, Nosa, and Furo. On this episode of the Open Africa podcast, we have a guest with us today. We have Wole. Wole, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi everyone, my name is Wole Ayodele. I'm founder and CEO of Fincra.
Do you want to tell us a bit about Fincra?
Okay, Fincra is a payments infrastructure company. We help businesses, fintechs, large corporates, global businesses to accept and send payments as well as build financial services in and out of Africa.
Awesome. So we'll be hearing a lot more from Wole in the episode. But before we get into that conversation, there's a big topic that, everybody, I'm sure, is anticipating.
There's a Kuda in the room that we need to address.
That's the problem. That's a big problem.
You need to face the mic properly, boss.
I'm facing the mic.
Okay. So Kuda, Tech About recently released an article, basically putting out, let's say, confidential information.
Just for the record, I'm going to play devil's advocate on this episode because I've tweeted some things arguing why it's not a big deal. But Nosa, why is your NPL that high?
I wonder with me they give loan.
You people are just throwing money at people.
Okay, I don't think the MPL is that high. I think it is a misunderstanding of the numbers. And in fact, the numbers are not entirely accurate, but I'm sure their source is correct, or they trust their source.
How does that work? How is the source correct, but the numbers are not accurate?
The source probably saw the numbers at one point.
And those numbers have changed since then.
So again, maybe it's somebody that we give accountant to prepare books or auditor.
That's a serious breach.
I'd like to know the company that is auditing your books.
Oh, it's just
so that they will not audit my own books when that time comes.
Because that's no information that's available to
the public.
To not even the public. Like it's not available company wide. Like maybe there are like 5-10 people that know that kind of
detail.
And all those 10 people are not going to just take about. Because
clearly now your model is going to be different. But how were you qualifying before?
It's not always qualifying. It was, again, it's an iterative process. Is you collect data sources because we did it in batches. I don't think for what is what they haven't even given up to 10-20% of the customer base the overdraft. It's just
even now I don't have an overdraft.
Yeah, but exactly.
Well. I do.
So it was in batches.
That's why I'm an up going forward.
And because we've seen plenty of things like lots of Nigerians don't have. At first, our credit bureaus don't only report if you borrowed.
Yeah.
Like
there's no score.
There's no yes. They just tell you the status of your thing. So that's not enough
to make a lending
credit decision.
So we did. I think.
Trust me, this man was in credit.
I mean, there are different things that we played around with. So because there are like 3-4 batches or 3-4 cohorts. One was very conservative, one was medium, one was less conservative. It's playing around, and that's how you kind of learn, and you learn to tweak your model or create the model in the first place. And in terms of numbers, because if you convert 6 billion to naira, it's like $2. It's like $14 billion, give or take.
Official rate. It's like 10M on the parallel market or less.
Yeah, give or take. So it's more. It's given the game or what the game was at that time, that period, it was growth. And I mean, we were optimizing for a particular outcome, and we've gotten that outcome, which was the number of customers, the activity, etc. Now that times have changed, everybody's optimizing for another thing. So I think in all these things, and I've seen a lot of commentary, people doing thread, is this how to do one, blah, blah, blah. People just spitting on their laptop.
Wow. Maybe this is why Tech About does not like you. Just maybe.
I mean, maybe Tech About should do their own expose on.
Oh my god.
Yes.
I'm not sure where we go from here.
I mean, the people that work in Tech About, do you want to tell you the No, I don't get it.
No, sir, this podcast.
I mean, I'm happy.
This podcast is not big enough for this.
No, I mean, should we drop two bombs about running businesses? I mean, let's be serious here. It is a game we play. I mean, I'm sure even Wole will talk to us about this thing as
Can I just say?
CEO.
Can I just say that this is not? We didn't really bring Wole to this episode to put him in awkward positions.
I'm not here. I'm really not here. Wole is not here.
Did you see the shock on his face?
Again, well, let's not talk like we don't know. I mean, I have relationships with a lot of people, so I know a lot of how different things have worked or stories that have happened in different places. So let's not be paragon of
Virtue.
No, sir, in all fairness to people, an NPL rate that is north of 60% is shocking to hear.
It is shocking to hear, but again, it is, how do I put it? There's
the context.
There's
of
some
the
misunderstanding,
number.
yes, and the context of the number and the kind of credit product it is.
Overdrafts are really high risk, to be fair.
Yeah, it's like a revolving line.
You can't even manage. The person will have defaulted because you won't know.
Because again,
we'll just be running.
I've even like had like, because we had last year we had lots of things with CBN where I'm always, because whenever CBN comes I always have to come. Oh no, so come and explain the product. Wait, it's like, oh, what's the tenor? What's the this? And it was built to be like just a line of credit for businesses. Line of credit for businesses, everybody, the people that run businesses get it. But line of credit for individuals is just.
But it's a common thing outside of Nigeria. I think in Nigeria.
It's just in Nigeria. It's not big. The overdraft, because if you look at everybody that's offering overdraft, Stambic's overdraft is kind of like a deposit in your account. At least that was the original version when I was there.
No, wait.
Have you forgot? Okay,
it's an overdraft.
House to now.
An overdraft. I'm no longer with the bank. An overdraft allows you to spend into.
Yeah, because remember when we built the one at Stambic, it was a deposit. Like it was.
Your credit
So
your
that's
account.
it's a term loan. That's a term loan.
Yes, but we called it an overdraft. So that's what most people are used to as an overdraft. So
Is that easy cash?
You guys might have called it an overdraft, but it was credit was recognized as a term loan.
Pre-Easy Cash, at least that was what became Easy Cash.
Yeah.
To be fair, for the first version of Easy Cash, it was an overdraft.
Yeah.
It actually was an overdraft. It was the loan creation APIs were creating overdrafts on the core banking app.
Yeah.
But it just had a 30-day.
Do you remember
cycle?
Remember staff used to call us and tell us, I've paid back, I don't want it again. There's lots of consumer education, this kind of thing. And even so, again, it's a model that's constantly being tweaked and adjusted and whatnot. So that's kind of explained. Then if you look at spend, we spent a lot on marketing now.
$1 million is what they have here.
Kuda was everywhere.
Yeah.
I couldn't play my games in peace.
We were trying to grow aggressively. It's blitzscaling, whatever. You can say maybe it's not good for the market, but
What do you mean not good for the
ultimately
market?
you have to know what game you are playing. And I think that's what most people don't understand. There are plenty of people that are applying. I don't understand.
So you're saying mature businesses are begging people for money?
Look, if you're a serious business,
But for real, if you look
and
at that list, if I'm being honest,
people that are serious
I don't
business,
name
that money is
names.
100K.
I don't want to name names.
These are businesses that were
Wale,
started.
would you take 100K right now? It's not a need. If you have to think about it, don't worry.
You have to do mentorship. You have to do one-on-one session. They have to check in on you at your big age.
I don't really like being on the spot.
Anyway,
I like being on.
anyway,
I mean, we did apply, so
let's circle back.
Yeah.
Because it's too big for this kind of thing now.
I didn't say so. Well, we're all trying to grow.
It's that kind of stuff where they will meant. And Google now, they cannot give you, say, oh, yeah, come and use our GCP credits. Let us teach you how to do Google ads. You'll be doing one-on-one with them. They'll be checking in on you because they give you 100K. Calm down. Anyway, no shade to Google, ja. I selected that money last year.
To be fair to Ticks, they were early stage.
We're also
You
early
guys are
stage.
really early
Exactly.
stage.
We're very early stage compared to.
Compared to who? No, sir. Compared to who?
Others that have collected
Others
it.
are there in this batch now. There are plenty mature guys on that side. But anyway, let's not
But,
deviate too much.
but the reality is that the growth that Kuda and some fintechs have I don't want to say enjoyed, but have achieved. Not a lot of people, people in other vectors, have not been able to achieve that kind of growth. And if you look at that list, most of them, they're not fintech now.
Look, there's something that we're clearly optimizing for in that period. Let's not deceive ourselves now. I mean, do you think you go what's it called? People that are sponsoring Big Brother, do you know how much it is?
Yeah.
I'm speechless.
Last I heard it was
and I'm eager for us to move on before Nosa
last I heard it was like 1-2 US
to sponsor Big Brother.
Yes.
Please, what's the prize money?
I don't even know what the price money
Because I don't think it's worth it.
Why do you think they, without fail, if you like, have coronavirus,
I don't know.
have Marburg virus, Big Brother will happen?
I'm not saying
The money they are giving those guys.
Just for context, I'm not saying that's what the guys are sponsored paid, but from my understanding, that's what MultiChoice was asking for. Whether people paid or not, but MultiChoice asked for that. 1-2 that's a lot now. But if you convert
Series A.
if you now convert it to naira,
It becomes big.
So, like with the thing with a lot of the numbers, like at one point, Tech About mentions that we hired high-powered staff.
Said
blah, blah, blah.
your personal expense
Personal
went up by
expenses,
500%.
Kuda is expanding. I mean, we are trying to do. If it's even in the press release from the last race now, we're trying to do other countries. Kuda is not just in Nigeria. Kuda is not just MFB. MFB is one subsidiary. There are different subsidiaries. And I think maybe there's some maturity. I won't call it maturity before they come and sack me. But there's a.
Oh my god.
There are plenty numbers that are conflated in there. And it's not necessarily MFB. And people are saying, oh, this is not good for a bank. Well, I can't go into too much detail without doing too much, but it's something I've discussed this thing with you offline. Someone that's citing, oh, we hired this Russian guy to be our CEO. Then CBN is messaging me, did you ask for permission? But it's like, he's not an employee of Kuda MFB, he's an employee of Kuda Tech. So there are different nuances to those numbers. There's context that's there that the way the group spend the money, as the whole we spend the money now, but it's like attributing standard bank spend to Stanbic.
And then they also have this random quotes. The income of the firm does not justify the spend in the short time. Why didn't they put the person's name or whoever made that statement? It's not attributed to anyone. So what's of more relevance?
Anonymous analyst. Again, I will keep saying this thing. Everybody has to know the game they are playing. And once you know the game you are playing, be happy with the game you are playing. The game Tix is playing. It's not the game Kuda is playing.
You know, I got on this episode trying to do devil's advocate, but I've been blown away by some of the comments. And we have talked about Kuda for 15 minutes.
Please, so we can move on, Shab. But at least you guys said so.
I'm eager to move on to more temperate matters.
So appear that we are being partial.
On to more temperate matters. We have Wole from Fincra. Wow. With us here today. Wole has been blown away. Even for me, this was shocking. Just so you are aware. And I'm on this episode. I've been on every episode. So this was unprecedented. And I think it's a fallout from the last episode too, because apparently they are saying we dragged everybody down to listeners. I was not among.
Look, people have dragged. There are plenty of people have sent me the link. I've not responded, and I don't be laugh.
I mean, yeah.
So you are saving it for the podcast. Furo, we've been hoodwinked.
I was saving my feelings, my responses.
I mean, you can't.
But Nosa, you need to list who the, that gist that you don't want to say. You need to mention it when we get offline.
When we get offline, I can tell you.
No, Allah. Wole, please tell us about Fincra. Because let's get some good vibes.
Yeah, so at Fincra we're doing quite a lot. So we're playing in some different sectors with some offline payments very strongly. Also with online payments, local payments as within Africa, and then international payments right outside of Africa as well. So the surface area in which we're playing is very vast. And that's why we have like so many different products across different markets.
Okay, so for the non-tech person listening to the podcast that is interested to know actually what Fincra does, you can't say straight to that person. Give us like a user journey or something to help describe
User journey, okay.
all these.
All these things. Okay, so So I'll start. The best way to approach it. So I'll still start going through our products. So on the pay inside, some other people might call it collections. We help businesses accept payments through cards, payment gateway. That's
Nosa, keep your mouth shut.
And then Nosa has spoken about offline. Yeah, so we help business accept payment through cards. We also help them accept payments through mobile money. We play a bit in the banking as a service space, right? So we provide APIs for fintechs, financial institutions, large corporates, and the likes to issue accounts. This across Naira accounts, USD accounts, Euro, GBP, and a few other currencies. Still on the pay-ins, we also help businesses accept payments in person through POS devices, and we provide the full infrastructure to power all the services. So, for example, in the POS space, we provide APIs for people to build offline applications on POS devices. We provide the white label software for financial institutions to deploy POS devices. We also provide the white label SDKs that fintechs and financial institutions can use to deploy POS devices with
this is a good.
It's plenty. Hey, Nosa, I've begged you.
If this was the person that we talked about that time,
I beg you, in the name of God.
I feel like this they are providing this
Value add.
They are selling shovel in the right place. Everybody wants to do POS business. They are selling shovel in the right place. They are not doing the POS business, but they are selling shovel to everybody that wants to enter that business.
Do POS business
exactly.
You see,
exactly.
This, unlike some.
No, sir, I begged you.
So,
let it go.
Yeah, so those are some of the things that we do on pay. I mean, for POS, we have some innovation that we're bringing to the space. We're trying to deploy pay with transfer at scale through POS devices, and we're distributing it.
We talked about that thing. So if he's thinking like storefronts, for example, and inside shops, like being able to pay with transfer and then get that response real time.
This is a bit offline. This is a bit offline or off-point. Why is it taking long for Money Points to do pay transfer on their POSs? I mean, I guess you can't speak for their business, but they do team up as Monify.
Yeah.
That started pay transfer on the web. But pay transfer on their POS, because you mentioned pay transfer on POS. Their pay transfer on POS has been coming soon. I told you
pay transfer on POS is I would lead with that.
I would lead with that. I mean, that's what Abeg does with Patronize.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting that that they who started it have not done it. But anyway, that's
maybe they are becoming big. Maybe Sprint is now hard to enter.
Backlog is like 2 years.
I'm not part of that.
Growing pains. No, but the reality of it, like growing pains.
Like you get to a certain size and you just lose agility because
because customers are screaming in different
Things are
directions.
happening. You need
No,
to
no, no,
fix this and
because he
fix
mentioned
that.
this thing, pay with transfer, and it's like I haven't seen a lot of the fintech POSs that have it as an offering. I mean, I
And that's
paid,
why I guess that's
yeah,
why he's doing
yeah,
it.
because I've seen it on number
Yeah.
on their number POS. Because I was like, oh yeah, this is like it's smart. And it just reminded me, like, why hasn't Timap done this on Money Point? Why is it still coming soon?
Can you get posting on this episode? On the next
Well,
episode.
guys, please let's calm down. Yeah, let's calm down. But I mean, if Kuda Bank wanted to do it, we could deploy it together. We have,
But this is not the place to be selling this kind of
yeah, I've been accused that I sell everywhere. I'm sorry.
understand.
I'm sorry. I just
For the
have
now,
to,
right? Kuda Bank lost 1 billion on doing transfer.
Deal made on podcast.
You made a podcast.
yeah, you heard it first. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so those are some of the solutions we have for payments. Of course, we have solutions for payouts as well. Local payouts within Nigeria. We also have local payouts within a few other African countries. Local payouts in the UK, in Europe, and then international payouts across about 130 plus countries. Of course, we primarily sell all the solutions via APIs. So we power a bunch of fintechs, money transfer businesses, some financial institutions, and then some businesses that need to send and receive money internationally. Then, still on offline, we've also built some infrastructure solution for agency banking.
These guys are like shut up with lights.
Fincra. Flutter with light.
Sorry, we are Fincra. The name of the company.
Don't do everything. Do you have USSD too?
Actually, it's coming soon. No. So there's something we're doing though. Of course, around pay code. Is still like with offline payments, right? So we plan to deploy it across agency banking and also merchant locations. So for agency banking, what we've done is we've built a Shopify for agency banking, basically. So whether you're a bank, commercial, microfinance bank, you're a super agent, you're an MMO, you're a PSB, you're a fintech, or in fact, you're a business that maybe has a distribution network, right? And you want to go into agency banking. So we provide you a white label platform that enables you to go live in 1 week with all the tools to run an agency banking business. So for us, we see it's like agency banking as a service, but it's also sort of like embedded finance, because for non-traditional finance businesses that have distribution networks, like maybe, for example, a filling station with 500 branches, or
Or like an
a chicken
FMCG.
reform, yeah, exactly, an FMCG, right, could also be potential agents where cash is being generated. So we'll just give the platform that automates the entire process. You don't have to build any line of code, so all the products comes in inbuilt, and of course the SDKs for POS devices. So we offer that as a platform to different business categories. Then we also have solutions on the API side, right? So all the APIs need to power an agency network. That's from cash out services, the virtual account transfer, bills payments, airtime, betting, insurance. So basically all the products that you basically see
This guy you
through
really wanted. Though.
agent networks. So build APIs for it. So selling to agent networks. So these are some of the products that we have within Fincra today.
So this for me is how big is your compliance team? And you go.
It's growing. Our compliance team is growing.
Because this sounds like a lot of licensing.
Yeah, so we have a few licenses that we've gotten. We have some in principle and some
In the works.
in the works, right, across different countries. Of course, in Nigeria, we've gotten approval in principle for a PSSP. We also have another subsidiary that's a microfinance bank. We have a money service business license in Canada. We have some other licenses in other jurisdictions, and then we've applied for lots others in different countries.
That's the real muscle, man. This guy's unicorn next.
You heard it here first.
Like cheaper.
We are betting on Fincra.
No comments. Like Fincra.
No, because it's again to be able to do all these things, it's very easy to yarn that you want to do these things.
Yeah.
And it's very that's why people always say, oh, fintech. That everybody's doing fintech. But it is a regulatory minefield.
Yeah.
Like there are so many things that especially
You
in
need
this
to
country,
watch out for.
especially in this country where CBN is very specific on this is what this license can do. This is what this license can do. Things that might be seemingly related, for instance, you find yourself needing to have
Two different
licenses
to be able to do
to be able to even start and finish one like process. So there's a lot of compliance and legal muscle that you need to have as far as applications,
Yeah.
putting in all those things. Fincra.
But if I can divert a bit, in the middle of all of this, it looks like you have your hands full with just trying to get your licenses and your products up and running. But then there's also that leg of you spinning, not a separate company, but essentially building like an in-house media team that is going to be producing content like podcasts and whatnot. What is the rationale behind that?
Well, so for a very long time, I've always felt like in terms of like growing a company, there are different ways to go about it. You can, go with like aggressive marketing where you have to, do a lot of ad spend and everything.
Like
But then,
Kuda.
what's it?
Like Kuda.
I never said
About
so.
my business. I don't understand.
Yeah, exactly. B2C businesses might have to do that, but for B2B businesses, right? So I feel like you need to be able to, get the right attention. You need to also like build a relationship with your audience, and those kind of things take time. And if you're going to make those kind of long-term investments, right, it could be profitable if you make those investments internally as opposed to just focusing on external spend. And the good thing about it is that once executed well, I believe that there will be a lot of earned media that you get out of that. And we're already seeing it. I mean, the amount of events that we get invited for, the quality of inbounds that we've been getting. I mean, it's just like a good testament to like the strategies that we've come up with for building love, our media strategy internally.
But I think it's also a good way of customer education.
Yeah.
Oh yes,
Customer education is another, because like for what you do, it's very technical, right? And
Yeah.
you need to break it down for people to
Yeah.
really understand exactly
Especially if you're like going
how
to,
they can use it.
because one thing I especially B2B businesses, Stripe has like a big press. Where
Yes.
yes, like they have they're very dedicated on their what's it called on their in-house media. And GTB has done it. I mean,
Paystack is one of the
Paystack
best
is also- has also
examples.
done it as
Yeah.
well. Paystack has done with like all these their spaces that they're doing now. Because it's a B2B business, they're targeting a certain kind of customer. It's not for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, because all these like big companies that do like technical blogs, for example, or how to implement this or how to implement that, where they like shove in their tool in the middle. It's like a good way to appeal to the people that are making the decisions or the people that are doing the work. If they see you,
So you get in their face.
yeah, you get in their face versus. I mean, I respect it. I think that's like a good approach to go for a B2B business.
Just for the record, you can sponsor Open Africa podcast. Also, we have experience doing podcasts. We've been doing podcasts for 3 years.
Spend one episode talking about paying.
You can invite us for a fee. Invite us for a fee. We talk about any topic you want.
Speaking of media, do you see how Access Bank they have Accelerate is now like Netflix?
No, I think it's a really good strategy. Like, to be honest, so it's like TransferWise, for example. There's this.
Oh God, their SEO is ridiculous.
Exactly. So if you look at their SEO strategy, I mean, when you go and read their blogs, you would understand why. So every single thing around sending money, TransferWise has content for it. They will write about their competitors. They will do comparison between their different competitors, the rates, how to use the platforms.
At a point where I wanted to find Swift code for certain banks, It's TransferWise website. Actually.
That's where I was going to. They actually acquired a platform where you validate like IBANs, international
yeah,
bank
IBANs,
account
yeah.
numbers, SWIFT codes. They actually like bought that platform. So anything you want to search around IBANs, BIC codes, routing
comes to
codes,
that.
like they are the
I
ones
really
providing you with that
like hearing
information.
stories
So
about companies that are going beyond
They're
just
embedding themselves in their
Yeah,
customers'
so,
lives.
clearly there's a lot of there's the quality of thoughts that it takes to come up with that level of product strategy. I think is it's a very understated thing where people look at successful businesses and think, oh, they're just successful. No, but there's a lot of thought and a lot of effort that has gone into it.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
I didn't even know this, but I know that like transfer wise used to pop up frequently.
Yeah. Anytime anything money transfer, and it's always like relevant content. It's not like
Very
It's
relevant.
not even like
Fluff.
them spamming.
Yeah.
Fluff. It's like stuff you need.
Unlike
You
a certain company on Twitter, but we digress.
Wow.
Wole, I apologize, but they were fighting us in our
The fight
DMs.
was in DM because I said their marketing is spamming.
But it's
But
fine.
it's spamming.
It's fine. It's
And the thing
fine.
is, like, for me, that kind of company, what I'd expect is you've gotten the feedback. Go and on your website, your blog, break down what you do so people understand in layman's terms, right? Not continue because they're still doing it.
Also-
people have been tagging the Open Africa handle, like
Yeah.
Open Africa, come and see, like when they're doing their spam.
You know, the funny thing is that one thing that the person who DM'd us was saying was that they are like they don't have any issues with the CBN and they're fully licensed.
No, you're not fully licensed to do anything.
And I looked at them and I'm like, you have no idea how far off you are.
Again, for all these things, CBN doesn't have your time yet.
Because you are not what
Let
they're
dollar
Sekaba has done an expose.
let dollar go to 1,000 now.
and see.
Yeah, I will be red. They'll be looking for who's
That's when you know that matching is a problem. Like
Oh my
matching
God.
is not allowed.
Did you guys see the tweet from their Bookie FX account
Oh, what is like?
that they've been offline for a year?
And dollar's good up still. Please, let's not digress too much. Yes,
No, but
Anyway.
it's still related because
Laolu,
no shame in
Laolu,
this.
Laolu, please bleep that part. Bleep it out.
Are you hiding? No, but I'll cut all of this out. But really, are you?
Nosa and I are having a conversation before you came.
And
You
before
can.
you came, they can.
They will drag
Absolutely.
you for even the partners that you
Even the partners that you use.
Yeah.
Don't worry. Once we go offline,
things
I can
It's like how on and I'm going to back this out too on our.
Anyway, back to this thing. I like that because when you're talking about Fincra, how do I put it? You emphasize offline payments,
Yeah.
and I think that's not a road traveled by many.
It's not sexy.
It's not sexy at all. I mean, it's easy to do online because you can sit down in your house and just do gateway.
It's the same thing I told your guys by the way, but let's not
You
get
can
into
just sit
that.
down in your house and do gateway. And say
It's the
you're
same
doing
thing,
gateway.
and I've acknowledged you, but I'm ignoring you.
I'll speed up company and say you are doing gateway.
I'm ignoring
But
you.
offline, you actually need to have boots on the ground to some degree, because getting people off cash is
Hard work.
Is very hard work, and it's like cash is not going anywhere. So, what do you think? Like the future of offline payments? Like, do you think cards are going to be big? Do you think transfers? Do you have an opinion on NQR? Because me, I have like personal obsession with NQR and why it has not worked.
No, with MQR and most payment methods, I think the problem is like always on the merchant side. I think it's mostly merchant driven. If merchants adopt a payment method, right, then you can start activating customers for it. Because I mean, like, what's the use of a payment method that is not accepted anywhere? If I have a digital app and the person I'm paying wants to buy something on the streets is not accepting it, like, then it can't work. So I'll give you an example. In Kenya, I've been doing a lot of research, just still around M-Pesa. There are so many success stories, but there are some parts that people have not really seen. Do you know that for merchants in Kenya, it costs them somewhere around 3% plus to accept card payments through POS devices? Meanwhile, M-Pesa, Safaricom will charge you 0.5%, right, for accepting that same merchant payment. So as a merchant, why would you want to
It's
use a
much
POS?
cheaper. There's more.
So I
Thank
guess
you.
it's the context. It's in the pricing. It's in prioritization by the financial service providers
Exactly.
and the incentives.
The incentives to the
that you bake
merchants.
into it.
To
And
the
I think that's
merchants.
what to the merchants.
Yeah,
yes,
because
that you
most
bake
merchants will
into it.
not, even if they have the POS device and their bank pushes it to them, they will rather accept through M-Pesa because it's like more favorable towards them. So that's why I think that what needs to happen, to like get rid of cash, right, is to drive solutions that makes it easier for merchants, and then like with consumers, I think it would. I
Follow.
believe it will follow because there's already a lot of innovation going on. More people are getting cards, more people are getting wallets, But again, if nobody is accepting cash, it's back to the same problem. I can give another example of the B2B the B2B commerce guys, Trade Depot and the likes, right? So I'm sure they would have loved it if their entire payment flows could be digitized. But
Yeah.
literally every small business, they are all being paid in cash. So they can only pay in cash, right? So cash is already introduced to the system. But if they're able to accept payments digitally, right, and then of course there's more mobile penetration, people are getting more cards, then it becomes easier for the cash in the system to reduce. But I think that's a key place where infrastructure needs to be built to make it easier for
People to
people to
So
accept
the
it.
merchants need to be
Yeah, I think it's
merchants-
merchant led.
yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's
Yeah.
merchant led.
One thing away from the merchants was that, and I still continue to say that I think the change management on NQR in particular has also not been great.
Did you know? I don't know.
Because I
I
heard
used NQR this week, and me and the what's it called
attendant.
and the attendant were fighting over which one is my money because they actually take a fee of what is settled. So I think I bought something 3K, and she got a lot because it doesn't come by name. So she got a lot for 2,750 or something around 2,970, and she was like, "I've not received the payment." And we sat down there waiting. She called our car. I've not received the payment. The only payment and the only reason why I even knew she had gotten payment because after a while she just got frustrated and said, "The only payment that's coming is this 2,900 or something. It's probably another transfer." And I was started to check. I was like, "Oh,
They debit
these
you.
guys settle them less the fees."
Yeah.
So I can see that so once I saw that I was like, it
Yeah.
makes sense why this thing hasn't grown.
The funny thing is that I once heard the MD of Needs talk about how he went to a restaurant with someone and then they had just launched NQR. No, the NQR had been live for a couple of months, and to like prove a point, he wanted to pay with NQR, and the attendant was like, "Oh no, we don't have that. Is pay with your card, sir, or you can do transfer. And we'll confirm it." And they're like, "No, there's NQR. That I know this establishment has NQR. I know for a fact that you guys have this." And they were like, "No." They had to go and summon the manager. Then the manager came out. They said, "Oh, we have it, but people don't really use it." And then the man went into like the back office to bring them, brought out the QR code. That he was
I mean,
going
like
to
going to like this store.
I think the chain management could be a lot better,
But can
really.
I ask
Just
though,
getting merchants to get into it.
If we go back to the basics, what is the role of NIBs? And should they be releasing customer-facing solutions?
Technically, it's B2B2C because it's the banks and the financial
PSPs
institutions
and like
that they are selling it to.
That's the thing. Then they don't understand the C in that B2B2C. But they're forcing you to take a product that impacts your do you get what I mean? Like,
I see your point.
Essentially, they strong arm you into implementing.
yeah. And so my question is,
But what are you not strong-armed into in this country? Think about it.
I even use Inner and Flutter if so.
oh God.
So nice experience. I feel like Inner can still work. But I need a referee to call me. I can tell him how you do it.
So that you go and collect NGNT from Timmy Abi. We have an episode where you propose this.
No, I've seen the future. That's what's called Pix in Brazil. That's what India should be. They should just allow this CBDC thing they are doing. Even UPI, the way Indians do UPI, it Pix.
What were the fees on Inair when you did your
I
transfer?
wasn't the merchant. I was doing Flutter with test checkout.
So they didn't charge you
So they
anything?
didn't charge me. I don't know how much they charged the merchant.
Because at some point they were matching it to NIP.
But they said that India was going to be free for like
then they change their mind.
They change their mind.
They change their mind. Unless if they've changed their mind again because I didn't stay close.
They need to do the rational thing and just you cannot make money off this thing.
But again,
Sure, they've also accused the banks of killing it.
but see,
They
this
didn't
goes
even-
back to the similar point that I made about the NIBS thing. Should you?
No, but
solution-
Inaira is a retail CBDC.
Now, Inaira
Is a direct CBDC rather. It is
from
central bank directly to the customers.
So if you notice,
So it's a competing product to the bank.
it's not just a competing product. Is the banks what they have is you can only fund your Inaira, like you can't view your Inaira balance. They didn't give them API for that. You
No,
have
they
to
did
download
not. The Inaira
Speed
speed wallet.
You can't pay from Inaira from your bank app. So all the banks can do is
Speed
move money
wallet.
from their position to Inaira. That's the functionality they have. Why would you sell that kind of thing?
To be fair, a lot of banks actually did try.
Because they forced them.
No, like bank MDs process these things differently
Different
from you and I. So I know a couple of banks actually they set up dedicated desk for Inaira related complaints. They shut down Sprint again. If you refer to our last episode, that's why Sprint is hard to enter. They shut down Sprint to prioritize Inaira. Like 6-7 bigs of the biggest banks in Nigeria did this. But it was always difficult to sell to the customer.
Look, I wouldn't make any further.
It was always very difficult.
There's so many ways you can rescue Inaira. I don't want to be giving.
Wally is fine to say something.
don't-
Don't
We're
worry.
not gonna
bro.
say-
Will you start accepting
Don't
Inaira
worry.
soon? I don't even think they made that API available to everyone. It's only Flutter
It's
that
not.
has it.
Yeah. And that flutter wave stuff, I feel like it's to spite the banks. It's to spite the banks. Like you people are not pushing. It's the way they created PSB because they felt like banks weren't doing enough with agency banking. So they now created PSB. But then they mandated that the majority of your operations must be in remote areas. Because me as a bank, why am I saying dedicating human beings to be collecting cash in the jungle where it's 500 naira total transfers in a week?
Do you know what's it called? With Flutter, you can receive remittances via send into your Inaira wallet. Nobody else has that functionality.
Like I said, to spite the banks, but that's my
Nobody
hot
else.
take. Please
But
don't
anyway,
quote me.
I'm going to test it one day, but nobody else has that functionality. Like the CBN said you can only receive remittance in Naira, in USD, blah blah blah. If you want to receive it in Naira with send, it goes to your Naira wallet. Nobody else can do that. Accepting payments with Naira, there are the only people that can do that. But anyway, I digress.
We're out of time, so it's final comments.
I
A
have
final question.
One final question. Card or bank transfers? What do you think?
Bank transfer.
Bank transfer, exactly. Like,
Do you think bank transfers will eventually kill cards?
It's already killing cards. But I mean, we'll try to accelerate,
the death of cards.
the growth of bank transfer in
Wale
Nigeria.
is so careful about not.
Look, if you know what to say it, I feel like we need to facilitate the death of cards.
The growth of bank transfer.
No, we're just putting words in his mouth.
These are MasterCard are eating too much. They're eating too much in this thing.
Oh, by the way, there's another leg to that one, but I'll gist you people after.
They're eating too much and we have to stop it.
I'm not among.
But thank you, Wally. Thank you for joining us.
This is the first guest that Nosa will actually do.
Thank for coming.
Yes, like
Thanks for coming. Because this, I like that he's emphasizing offline business. I like that he's what's it called, powering agency banking.
and doing podcasts
Doing the
that is
real
going
work.
to hire us
I feel
or
like
sponsor this
the
episode.
things that his agenda is aligned with my agenda. Other people, their agenda doesn't align with my agenda. That's why we have differences.
And that's why you're always insulting them because the straight bullet I chopped this morning. Hey,
Wait,
Hey,
just
hey.
one more thing. Do you remember that episode where we discussed escrow?
oh,
Mm-hmm.
oh, oh. Till the next episode.
Thank you for listening and catch you on the next Open Africa episode.